What is up, you guys? Today we bring you the series Black Knight, and the first episode opens with a haunting voiceover by our main character 5-8, setting the stage for this post-apocalyptic world we are about to enter. 40 years ago, a comet collided with Earth, causing a catastrophic destruction. Most continents have sunk beneath the sea, and the once lush Korean peninsula has transformed into a barren desert wasteland. Only 1% of the population survived, and these survivors were forced to adapt to a new technology and a new social order. To combat the polluted atmosphere, a colossal air core was constructed to convert the scarce resource of oxynium into breathable oxygen. The scarcity of resources led to a division of the population distinguished by QR codes into general, special, and core districts. Those not chosen were condemned to live as refugees, struggling to survive in a world of discrimination, starvation, and lack of oxygen. Some refugees, desperate and angry, become hunters, stealing and plundering to survive. To counteract this threat and ensure the delivery of vital supplies, the delivery men were established. These delivery men are the lifeline of this new world, braving the sand-filled desert and its polluted area, fending off brutal hunters and delivering oxygen and other necessities to the QR-coded residents, and 5-8, a legendary delivery man and former refugee, embodies the strength, resilience, and determination required to survive in this harsh environment. Meanwhile, in the general district, we meet Yoon Sa-woo, a spirited teenager boy who was once a refugee but now lives with Major Sol-ah, the soldier who saved him. Despite the danger, Yoon frequently visits his friends in the refugee area, honing his skills and dreaming of becoming a delivery man himself. But Sol-ah, fearing for his safety and the consequences of harboring a refugee, grounds him for 15 days. In stark contrast to the desolate refugee areas where thick dust and a lack of greenery prevail, the core district is a veritable utopia. This underground haven enjoys sunny skies and offers miles of visible grass, serving as a home to the society's elite, among whom includes Madam President Chi Jen. However, the residents of the special district are suffering from depression and panic attacks due to their inability to see the sky and forest caused by inadequate engineering. To address this issue, Madam President Chi Jen plans to relocate the special district's residents to a newly constructed district called District A. During a conversation with Chairman Ryu, they discuss the issue and the relocation plan. Here we learn that Chairman Ryu is responsible for the designing of the world they live in today, having dug 5 kilometers deep 40 years ago. We are then introduced to Ryo Sok, the heir for the Champayong group, which rules the world by taking advantage of the oxygen demand. Ryo Sok meets with President Chi Jen and his father, and they meet to discuss the operational tests of the air road, a critical component of their world. Meanwhile, defying Sol-ah's orders, Yoon sneaks out to visit his friends in the refugee village. In a daring act of rebellion, they hitch a ride on a delivery truck driven by none other than 5-8, who quickly discovers them and removes them. In the meantime, at the construction site of District A, 5-8 observes the secretive transport of Air Corps, raising suspicion about the true intentions of the Champayong group and the government involvement. Back at the refugee village, 5-8 demonstrates his compassion by providing the refugees with much-needed oxygen and supplies. At Sol-ah's home, his sister, Siu-la, excitedly receives a delivery from 5-8, thrilled to meet the legendary delivery man himself. Then after delivering the goods, 5-8 departs. However, her joy is short-lived as armed men bearing QR code access burst into the home and attempt to abduct Siu-la. Yoon, locked in his room, desperately tries to break free and save her, but as the men shoot down the door, Yoon charges out only to find Sol-ah already hit. And in a heart-wrenching moment, he cradles her lifeless body before being shot in the head himself. The first episode ends on this shocking and tragic note, and as we take a look at episode 2, it opens with a lot of tension, and 5-8 races against time, desperately trying to reach the house where the shooting occurred. But unfortunately he arrives too late, and his heart is pounding as he calls in the incident. He finds the assassin cornered. Rather than facing capture, the assassin chooses death, taking his own life in a shocking twist. As 5-8 surveys the scene, he notices Yoon's fingers twitching, and memories of their early encounter would come flooding back, and he realizes that Yoon is a refugee. Knowing the danger he would face if discovered in the house, 5-8 makes a split-second decision to take the unconscious Yoon with him. 5-8 then brings Yoon to a secret meeting place to take care of him. The atmosphere is changed with determination and hope, and Yoon is treated by 4-1, who works tirelessly to save him. 5-8 and 4-1 try to keep Yoon in place, but he's desperate to find out if Sul-Ah is really dead. To avoid his resistance, they sedate him, and 5-8 is shocked by his rapid recovery. He notices that beneath his cut there is a metal instead of bone. The mystery deepens as 5-8 discovers a metal-like object on Yoon's foot and witnesses a bullet literally bouncing off his head. He keeps a piece of the metal as evidence, determined to uncover the truth behind this strange phenomenon. Meanwhile, Major Sol-Ah returns home to find her house in shambles and her sister Seul-Ah lying dead on the floor. Her grief is palpable as she brushes off her sister's grave, vowing to find out the truth. Sergeant Lee suggests that the murder may be connected to the kidnappings in the general district, but Sol-Ah insists on exploring every possibility. In the next scene, 5-8 soon finds himself at the government complex in the special district, giving a witness statement to Sol-Ah about the very same murder case. As she listens, a flashback reveals the moment she found and saved Yoon during a mission to quell the refugee riots. Her compassion shines through as she defies orders to save him. The loss of Seul-Ah weighs heavily both on Sol-Ah and Yoon. Yoon enters Sol-Ah's apartment, and his eyes filling with tears as he looks at pictures of himself and Seul-Ah. When Sol-Ah returns, she is surprised to find him there, and their shared history is revealed. Sol-Ah had adopted Yoon during the brutal cleansing of refugees who opposed the Champayong group. Horrified by her actions, she'd spared the remaining survivors and secretly brought Yoon home. Knowing that Yoon could not stay with her, Sol-Ah bids him a tearful farewell, giving him a bag and a vial containing Seul-Ah's ashes. She sends him to stay with his friends, but Yoon could not escape his guilt. He confronts the gang he defeated in the first episode, looking for retribution by asking them to hurt or even kill him. His friends, sensing his intentions, intervene, but not before he's injured and falls unconscious for several days. In the next scene, vehicles arrive at the refugee area to recruit construction workers for District A, offering a year's worth of oxygen and supplies as payment. 5-8 and his friends realize that the team is desperate to complete District A, fearing that its completion would spell doom for the refugees' glimmer of hope of living in the general district. Determined to protect their people, 5-8 orders his friends to delay the construction as much as possible while he infiltrates the site as a worker. In the midst of the chaos, we learn that delivery man 5-7 has been serving as a primary link between the general district and the sinister Ryo Suk of the Champayong group. Responsible for orchestrating the kidnappings at the end of episode 1, Ryo Suk has been subjecting his victims to horrifying experiments. As the truth dawns on 5-7, he begins to question his allegiance. Ryo Suk, sensing his hesitation, offers him a deal, one last job in exchange for a lifetime safety in the core district. Meanwhile, 5-8 and his team work tirelessly to analyze and investigate the recent kidnappings and killings. Their efforts pay off as they finally locate the kidnapped children who are being prepared for Ryo Suk's twisted human experiment project. Unbeknownst to his father, Ryo Suk has been acting without the knowledge or the approval of the Champayong group's chairman, Ryu Jae-jin. A man driven by kindness, the chairman has always intended for the Air Corps to benefit humanity. When he confronts Ryo Suk about the recent tragedies, the tension between father and son reaches a boiling point. In the next scene, Yoon awakens from his comatose state, sharing his deep sorrow with his grandfather. Elsewhere, Ryo Suk undergoes dialysis treatment, revealing that he is dying. As 5-8 and Grandpa meet, they speculate that Yoon could be a mutant, with 5-8 revealing that the bullet that struck Yoon harmlessly ricocheted off of him. They theorize that his condition may be connected to the kidnappings and his father's work in the Oxonium mines. This is the exact place where exposure to radioactive substances has led to mutations in the children of the miners. 5-8 believes that the kidnappings are linked to these mutant children and the human experiments Ryo Suk is conducting. Grandpa then pleads with 5-8 to leave Yoon in his care until he recovers. As Sol-Ah investigates the District 5-7 case, her Defense Intelligence Command assists her by gathering data related to the murder. They uncover 5-7's activities and find it suspicious that he was on vacation at the time of the killing. In a desperate attempt to escape Ryo Suk's clutches, 5-7 tries to take his own life, but 5-8 intervenes. The delivery men confront each other about the kidnappings and the Champayong's group involvement, and the tattooed men. Just as 5-7 is about to reveal everything about the human experiments, Ryo-suk activates a chip implanted in his neck and kills him. In a cunning move, Ryo-suk plans an event to distract the masses from their mission of another wave of kidnappings. The event is a fighting contest, with the winners earning a place in the deliveryman crew, and Yoon discovers the flyer for the event and is instantly excited. In the final scene of this episode, Yoon stands in the path of 5-8 and 4-1's trucks as they head to the assembly. As 5-8 notices him, he accelerates toward Yoon, and the episode ends with a heart-stopping cliffhanger, the moment of impact between 5-8's truck and Yoon. Episode 3 of Black Knight begins with a gripping flashback to one of 5-8's earlier days, amidst a fierce gunfire during a refugee rebellion against the Champagnat group. Masked and fearless, 5-8 takes on the cops with relentless determination, ultimately getting shot and presumed dead. His body is callously thrown into a mass grave, set to be burned with the others. In a stunning twist, he awakens, overpowers the guards using a weapon from a nearby corpse, and makes his daring escape. The episode then resumes from the previous cliffhanger, with 5-8 slamming onto the brakes just in time, and Yoon skillfully laying flat beneath the truck and narrowly avoiding disaster. Eager to join the upcoming deliveryman competition, Yoon seeks 5-8's guidance, knowing him to be the strongest deliveryman. 5-8 agrees to help, revealing the date and location of the event. Through flashbacks, we see 5-8's ongoing battle against the Champagnat group and his promise to create a brighter future for his grandfather and others like him. It becomes clear that 5-8 is fiercely opposed to the ruling group, working tirelessly to secure equal rights for the refugees they deem worthless. We learn that 5-8 is part of a group of former refugees turned deliverymen united in their opposition of the Champagnat group. They are aware of the group's mistreatment of people and the kidnapping of the ex-Oxenian miners' children for the experimentation. The mutation, resulting in metal bones and a rapid wound healing, is also further explored. When the police discover 5-8's hideout, the team quickly shifts gears, engaging in a workout to deflect suspicion. 5-8 then encounters Sol Ah, who enters the warehouse to discuss 5-7's death. She is skeptical of the official explanation, and 5-8 confirms her suspicions by revealing the truth about the murder and the kidnapper's shared tattoo. He warns her to be vigilant as more kidnappings are now taking place. In the following scene, Yoon arrives at a remote gym where 5-8 and 4-1 begin preparing him for the Deliveryman tournament's opening round. Yoon then heads to the competition facility where he passes a physical fitness test and receives a badge identifying him as Refugee 034. Under 5-8's watchful eye, Yoon undergoes rigorous training, gearing him up for an intense competition that now lies ahead. The competition facility buzzes with anticipation as a diverse group of competitors, including Yoon, now known as Refugee 034, gather for the first round of the brutal contest. The air is thick with tension as they are informed that they must fight one another while the oxygen level in the room steadily decreases. And they're also told that only the last person standing will advance to the second round. As the battle rages on, Yoon's determination and skill shine through, and he emerges victorious alongside 7 other participants from various groups. Under the cover of darkness, 5-8 and his team execute a daring rescue mission, intercepting a cargo of kidnapped children en route to the treacherous Oxenian mine. In the next round of the competition, the stakes are raised even higher. Competitors must deliver a package to a specified destination while being relentlessly pursued by a pack of merciless hunters and their heavily armed vehicles. Only 2 will survive this harrowing ordeal and advance to the next round. And the tension is palpable as Ryo-suk and 5-8 watch the live footage from the same room, with 5-8 offering insightful commentary as to the contestants' chances of success. Yoon's impressive driving skills, honed through countless hours spent playing simulation games, are put to the test in this high-octane chase sequence. After a series of twists and turns, Yoon's car crashes, but he manages to hitch a ride with another contestant after helping her free her vehicle from a sand trap. But their alliance is short-lived as a hunter viciously attacks and pulls her away from the car. With a clear path to the next round, Yoon faces a difficult choice. He could easily secure his spot by driving forward, but his nature compels him to help a fellow contestant who's under heavy fire from the relentless hunters. And as this episode reaches its thrilling conclusion, Yoon makes the ultimate sacrifice, turning back to aid his fellow competitor and leaving his own fate hanging in the balance. And that is how the 3rd episode wraps up. If you guys enjoyed our recaps, make sure to leave a like and leave a comment, and most of all, subscribe to my channel. I promise to see you guys on more episodes to come. I love you all, bye.